Welcome to the Minnesota State Fair. Preview night is held before the State Fair opens for participating and non-participating artists and their friends. So let's get started.
Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair with the artist Jimmy Longoria. Jimmy, can you tell us a little bit about this work? What inspired you?
Well, what inspired me is that a few years ago, the Cheech Marin collection came to Minnesota,
Yes.
and they printed up a ton of advertisements, which is the underlying thing. And then I thought it was great paper, so I took some home, about half a foot stack.
Okay, right.
And then I've been working on them, and this is last year's production.
What kind of a medium are we working in here?
Well, here it's interesting because I'm using enamels, which I usually use on the product I'm really famous for, which is painted shovels.
Oh, really?
One of them hangs in the Supreme Court of the United States.
Wow, that's no good to know.
Yeah, and so the material, which is basically airplane enamel, the little stuff in the bottles,
Okay.
is what I use to go and work on that, and then render an image that comes through on top of an image.
Well, who are these two individuals?
Well, it's called Las Chinas.
Okay.
In Mexican culture, there are certain regions where the people look like they're Chinese because they have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that was the idea. And what it is, the idea of them applying for jobs, because most of them suffer from discrimination because of their look, and then to
Well,
put
that's
that
very important to point out this
yeah,
time.
and the thing is that I don't make them bronze or dark; they're in whites.
Wow.
So that you can see it.
That
And
really
then
jumps out at you.
Thank you.
Really?
That's the whole thing. And then the finishing touch is pencil, so
Okay.
there's the detail. And this is my style of working so that it's no solid. I'm out of place with all the realists.
Okay, I hear you.
I'm more of an expressionist,
Oh, wow.
but I'm also collected by someone like Cheech Marin.
Wow, that's
which-
great.
yeah.
Have you had other works here at the Minnesota State Fair before?
Long ago, I had a very.
But you're back now. You're
I'm back. Well, I've been real busy. Normally, this yellow shirt is worn in the streets in the Twin Cities, and I work with young people to knock out gang graffiti.
Right.
So
right.
this year was the one year that we really didn't have any projects.
Okay.
And
Hey,
so-
we want people to support art. That's
Well, again, my wife always tells people he's the only artist who takes the money he makes as an artist to go and pay for programming.
Oh,
Because-
excellent. That's
yeah,
good to
I
know.
mean,
That's great to know.
I'm famous for painting the back of buildings, not the front.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but people know my style and they
Excellent,
recognize
excellent.
it. And then the kids a lot of them have grown up and been doing it for over 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
So some of these kids now have real jobs, and
Great.
they never want to come back and paint because painting walls is very hard work.
Okay, we know. Well, art is a lot of intensive work.
Oh, it
and
is, it
dedication.
is.
You have to feel it. You have to enjoy it, and you have to love it. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
That is correct because the strain. Most people don't. Some painters have come up and said, like, "Is that enamel?" Yes. And did you work flat? Because it's hard to keep enamel from running.
Okay.
It's a very runny paint, and if you notice, there are no drips.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Anyway. so-
Okay, well, really appreciate the effort. And what kind of feedback have you received on this piece of art?
Well, my peers have said, "Oh, you finally did something small."
Something we can bring into a museum here.
That's funny. Just recently, I installed some paintings at the Tweed Museum up in Duluth.
All
and
right.
there were paintings that were made for the Bush Foundation.
Okay.
And so they were too big. They're in storage for a while, and the Bush Foundation said, "Can you help us find a home for them?"
All right.
And so they're there. So people can go to Duluth, go to the Tweed. You can see my big work.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Longoria here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah.
Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair. Here with Mary Beth Garrigan. Mary Beth, could you please give us a little background on this piece of work?
Well, I created this about 2 years ago. It's called Travel by the Lavender Moon, and it embodies how we all are embraced by our mother country, the United States. We're a country of immigrants.
Of course.
And so this is North America. She kind of represents North America, and these are all her children. We're from all over.
Of course.
And so it kind of became poignant as a piece, almost politically, in the
Well,
last
of
couple of years
course,
with
of
all
course.
the systems that are happening now. So for me, it's a very
Crazy times we are living
I
in.
know, but for me, it was I did this with hope because
Oh,
when
yes.
you talk about immigration, and we always bring hope to a
Oh, the
nation.
colors are really dynamic.
We get the brightness award.
Look at, yeah, you got the brightness award.
It's a lavender moon, and
Yes.
it's like this. It's trying to bring about that illumination or the illuminative quality, almost like a stained glass window of a church.
What is your background? Have you done many
Yeah,
works like this in the past?
I'm a painter. I live at the Schmidt Artist Lofts. I have landscapes, beaded work. I do installations. I do
great.
so a lot of different pieces. This is the one that is kind of a little different, but But yeah, I'm. Look me up on www.uglydaisy.com.
That works for me. What kind of feedback have you gotten?
Lots
from
of
this?
really
Lot
good
of
feedback.
positive
They love the brightness of it. People are excited to see.
People want to see some bright.
Yeah,
it's a happy. I mean, it's
yeah.
positive. That's what I like about it.
It's a positive about
piece of work.
hope. About hope. Yep. We all try to travel to a better place.
Oh, yeah. Well, darn right. I really appreciate it. Well, Mary Beth,
thank
I
you
really
so much.
appreciate the work and
Thank
keep
you.
up the great work.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Megan, please introduce yourself and give us the title of your artwork.
Hi, I'm Megan Moore from Minneapolis, and my painting is Chickadees and Azul-winged magpie on a southern magnolia.
And is there a story behind your artwork?
One of my other Birds on Branches pieces, the title is Lazensky Park, which is a park in Warsaw, and the birds in that painting are great tit birds, but people would see that painting and always be like, oh, chickadees, I love chickadees. So I decided that I should do a painting that actually had chickadees in it. So I've done a whole series of these Birds on Branches paintings, and with this one I did two similar, both using the southern magnolia. I grew up in Alabama, so I kind of latched onto that as a symbol of the South and feminine strength also. And when I was thinking about pairing them with the southern magnolia, I looked to see if chickadees and southern magnolia actually exist anywhere together, and they do in Missouri, which is kind of like middle ground between Minnesota and Alabama.
Thank you. See, that's the fun things I like to hear. and I noticed one of your chickadees is a little different. It has the blue.
It's the azul-winged magpie, and I have to admit that I actually don't know where exactly an azul-winged magpie lives, but that's the artistic license.
And I noticed this is an oil on wood. So do you normally work on a wood base?
I do. It's my preferred medium for several years now. I just like the very smooth and stable surface that a panel provides.
Really? And it's smoother than canvas?
Yeah, and you sand it and then gesso, and you can sand the gesso too if you want something really smooth and flat.
That's the stuff we'd love to hear about. Technique. Could you tell us a little bit about your art background?
I studied illustration at the Savannah College of Art and Design. I graduated in 2002, and that's when I moved to Minnesota, and I've been working as an artist here since then. I'm in the Northrop King building, and I've been there since 2003 in a shared studio space. I've done some illustration work, but a lot of just personal work and commissioned work too.
And have you submitted artwork to the state fair before?
I have several times. This is my first time being accepted.
No, I've heard a lot of people say they submit, and they're real excited when they finally get in. Where can we see more of your artwork?
So the easiest place is my website, meganmoore.com, but I also mentioned I'm in the Northrop King building, number 423 in Northeast Minneapolis.
Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Deanne Parks, and I'm a visual artist. I paint, I sculpt, and I make the occasional giant puppet.
So can you tell me the backstory about this piece, because there's a lot going on here?
There is a lot going on. My process is one that I have no idea what I'm going to paint when I start. It's a very intuitive process. I just sort of make chaos on the canvas, and then things bubble up and fall back. And in this particular case, what came forward happens to be, I recognized it's actually my child, who is non-binary, and she's very, very in tune with nature and creatures, and she's an artist, and she loves insects. And this piece reminds me of a time where she had a cicada in her hand, and I realized that just like a cicada, she had come out of her shell and flown.
Yep, here's the cicada right here. I can see that. And I can see you won an award. Do you know? Or
I have no idea about the award. I just showed up and it was there. I'm really happy about it.
I know, yeah.
I don't know what it means yet.
All right. Have you ever any formal training, or are you just
I'm
self-taught?
totally self-taught. I've been a full-time working artist since 1998.
Okay, wow. Have you submitted to the state fair before?
I have. I've submitted several times and I've gotten in, but this is the first time I've ever won an award, so I'm excited.
All right. Well, where can we find you?
You can find me on my website, www.artdeanne.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Merle, could you introduce yourself and give us the title of your artwork?
Hi, I'm Meryl Buckhorn. I live in Hopkins, and the title of my photo is Who, Me?
Now, in digital photography, you're not just taking a picture and that's all there is, right?
No, I am not. I am bribing my dog with food, and then I am retouching pieces into the photograph later.
And what does he have in his mouth right now?
Right now, he has, inside his mouth, he has a bacon strip, and outside of his mouth, he has a bird feather.
Don't tell me he ate a real bird.
He did not. He did not. I added the bird feathers afterward in Photoshop.
And could you tell us a little bit about your background in art?
Yeah, you know what? I grew up on the East Coast, and I went to the University of Maryland for graphic design, advertising design. And I worked for a few ad agencies in Washington, D.C. And then my husband transferred here to work in an ad agency here. And we've been here, we thought we were coming for 1 to 3 years, and we've been here 28 years. So I don't work for ad agencies any longer, but I do still do graphic design and photography.
Is this the first time you've entered into the state fair?
This is my first time.
Were you
I was
surprised?
very surprised, and I learned a lot from looking at all the other pieces here and what won and what got in. So I know my game plan for next year based on this year.
Are you going to give us a heads up on what we might expect next year?
I don't know yet. I just know as far as what type of framing and what size and what type of photo print I'm going to do.
Is there any website or anything where somebody can go and see more of your work?
Yeah, my website is merylbuckhorn.com. And then I have an Instagram account that is @mbuckhorn.
Thank you so much for taking the time and being with us.
Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair with Mark A. Pearson. We look like we're at the Midway or something here. Is that what inspired you? Or?
That's what it is.
So it's is it a fine, give us a little background on this. What inspired you?
This is my daughter.
That's your daughter?
That's
okay.
my daughter.
Enjoying some what?
And those are fried pickles.
Nice.
And when we go to the fair, she has to go there
Has
first.
to have that. Ah, no.
It's the first
Always a
thing we
crowd
do.
favorite. Always a crowd favorite.
First thing we do, so that's why I took it.
The great Minnesota State Fair. So what's your background? Do you do much painting? Is that your background? or-
Yeah, this is pastel. This is oil pastel.
Oil pastel.
So
Okay.
that's what I'm doing now.
Very excellent detail. And what kind of responses have you got from your daughter? And
Oh, good. Real good.
She appreciates the effort.
Yeah, she was here. I wish she was here now. You could,
Yeah, we got to interview her too.
Yeah.
So have you had any other artwork on display in the past, or? Is this-
yeah, a few things.
Okay.
Yep.
You've been coming to the State Fair for a long time?
Yeah, I've been coming to the state fair since 2 years old or something.
Oh, heck yeah. Like most of us. I mean,
Right, yeah. My parents brought me, and that,
it just kept you going.
kept going, yeah.
So you got more plans? You got other ideas in the works?
I'll enter again.
You'll keep
I'll
up
throw
the
in I'll
good
throw in more.
work.
That's right. yeah.
All right. Well, I really appreciate the effort here. Mark A. Pearson, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
thank you.
Keep up the good work, Mark.
Yep, thank you.
Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair, here with Brent Beal. Brent, could you give us a little background on this work of art you have here?
Well, this is a acrylic painting on canvas, and I painted this from a photograph that I actually took in 1980. I had a Pentax K1000 and had black and white film in, and
Looks like Truman Capote.
well, it almost looks like it's older than the 80s. But anyway, I was kind of like a paparazzi. I saw this guy light up this cigarette, and I wanted a picture of him because
Wow.
he stood out in the crowd in this suit. I really wanted the picture of him, and it wasn't until I got my film developed, which I
Right.
did back then, that I noticed she was taking a bite of her ice cream cone at the same time as
puffing on that
puffing on the cigarette. And I just thought
dynamic.
it was a great photo. And This photo is right here, and that survived 11 moves up to
Wow.
date. And I started painting a couple years ago, and I thought it would be a great painting, so decided to enter it here in the fair.
And what kind of reaction did you get? Have you gotten from the fairgoers here? What kind of input have they given you?
It's interesting to watch people stop.
That's great, isn't that great? To just see how people react to it.
And it's
I mean, look at those sunglasses. Look at the what kind of a hat she has on. Is that if that ain't 1980s? You know.
it's actually her hair. I think it's probably a wig. I would really like to know who they are. So if somebody
Recognizes this couple.
recognize them, but you can find me at Brent Beal at brentbealart.com.
Right. And what other works have you submitted? Other works of art here at the State Fair?
This is the first time I submitted,
Okay.
and I got in.
Wow, that's a plus right there. You got to please that. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, hey Brent, this is really fantastic. I really appreciate the effort and keep up the good work.
All right.
Thank you. Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair with Judy Sell. Judy, could you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do this dynamic piece of art? This really jumps out at you.
Well, I always try to use a real thing to start with, so I had this beach ball idea. And then I had collected a lot of rosebud, and I've always seen women with swim caps on. So,
Okay.
and then I wanted to figure out how to do water. So I had all these assignments. I gave myself about a year to experiment. I did the face a couple times.
Wow.
But so I wanted, just to have somebody enjoying the water. And then I also had these watch bands. I have about 100 watch bands.
Wow.
I mean, so there's little things I wanted to use in something, so it all kind of came together.
So you started this about a year ago, you said?
Yep, it takes me about a year because I kind of
Wow.
go in slow motion. I have to
Okay.
think about it,
Oh, heck
find
yeah.
the right stuff. I have a lot of stuff
Well, a lot of
with
stuff, right.
all found dishes at Goodwill.
So where do you begin? You start in the middle here?
I
and
start
where-
with the face
Okay.
because that's the most engaging.
Right.
And then I knew I wanted to get this softness of the arms. You know how that gets all nice and
Of
soft?
course, of course.
And so I started to get a whole bunch of platters because I thought the platters would capture all of this.
Oh, right. Wow. So have you, what's your background? Have you done other works here? Have you been?
Yep, I've been doing mosaics for 25 years with just found art.
25 years?
Yep, all sentimental. First it
What'd you
was...
start when you were about 10 years old?
Oh, no, I just started with memory jars.
Okay.
And memory jars then got bigger and bigger, and then I just love finding unusual
Wow.
pieces.
I mean, it's exceptional that the detail, the effort that you put into this.
I
And
appreciate that.
And now, it's the Jennifer and William Oliver Award. Tell us a little about it.
I don't know too much about it, but I think it was for something creative and unusual.
Oh, definitely. This is definitely. Well, I don't know if that's
okay.
unusual. I
Yeah.
mean, I think
I
it's.
think unusual is in their phrasing.
Yeah.
That's okay. And I would, I would agree.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great about the Minnesota State Fair. Just walking around, seeing all these great works of art. Are you amazed by all the variety we have
I love it,
here?
yeah,
Isn't
yeah,
it amazing
yeah.
the talented people we have here in Minnesota?
Yeah. I have tried to get in many years.
Oh,
I got
yeah,
in
it's tough
97,
competition, tough
and it means a lot to me personally
Well,
to be in.
congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Congratulations.
Thank
Really,
you.
I mean, you've really outdone yourself.
Yeah.
Wait, you got a little alligator here?
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, the more you look at the detail, and the more you can appreciate this.
And that's what artists want you to do. They
Oh,
want
hey,
you
you want
to
you to get
linger.
close. They want you to linger.
and then feel like, hey.
And
what
that's
the
what
heck?
for an artist, you're probably standing in the background, watch people come up to this
Yeah.
and look at it. And isn't that the loving feeling you get from a work of art like
yeah,
this? Ain't that what it's all about?
Yeah, you want them to linger.
Yes.
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
what- Well, congratulations, Judy. Just an excellent piece of work, and we really appreciate it. And hope to see you in future years here
I
at the Minnesota
appreciate
State
that. Nice
Fair.
to meet you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rochelle, could you please introduce yourself and give us the title of your artwork?
Yes, my name's Rochelle Huff, and the title of my artwork is Memories.
And what medium are you working in?
It's a silk screen with, it's an 8-color silk screen with the last part of it being hand-colored gold pen used. The gold-colored pen is enunciating the pillow shape along with the little circles.
And what's the story behind your artwork?
Well, it's both kind of humorous and sad, but this has a lot to do with my history and the fact that I came from a family that had some abuse in it. My father was a bad alcoholic till I was 14, and one day when he was coming up the steps, my mother used the frying pan to whack him over the head. So it caused a very memorable image for me as an 8 or 9-year-old. However, what I also think is interesting is that I grew up, even though that was harsh, I grew up with a lot of happiness and with a lot of comfort. So there's kind of that mixed metaphor of what makes images interesting, and so that's why I've used this.
And could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes, I have been a creative director for 27 years. I taught at the University of Minnesota for 13 years in the design department, and now I am a student again, working on my own art. So I'm taking printmaking at the University of Minnesota, and I'm also doing clay, which these are my porcelain chains that I'm making.
Have you submitted any artwork before to the State Fair?
I did last year, and I didn't get in.
So were you pretty excited that you got in this
I'm
year?
really excited that I got in. It's really fun.
And you have all your family and friends with you?
Yeah, a huge group of friends showed up, and it's been really a good day.
Do you have any way that people can see any more of your artwork?
You know, I feel like I'm a student yet, and I'm really evolving, so I'm hoping that someday I'll have some shows, but right now I'm just glad to be in this show.
Well, thank you so much for being on my show.
Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair with Trish Hollywood. Trish, what a fantastic piece of work. Could you describe this figurine and what inspired you?
This is Heather. She is an homage to women. I think the politics today and all the things happening with women kind of made me want to do something for women, and this was my effort to do that.
Well, you know, us old white men, we know what's best for you women.
Yeah,
so.
we've heard that a lot. We're starting to stand up to that.
Well, that's why I really wanted to talk about this. I mean, you really put a lot of work in that. You got a lot of women involved from all walks of life, I take it.
All kinds of women, all women from across the whole world.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what's your background? Have you done other pieces of work in other mediums? Or?
I do a lot of collaging. Some of it's three-dimensional, some of it's with paper. It's really just a hobby of mine.
Okay.
So.
Well, great work. I mean, that's
Thank
fantastic. I mean, the detail. I mean, what's with the black boots?
Those are my boots.
Those are your boots. All right. What happened to the head?
She doesn't need a hat.
She doesn't need
She
it.
represents everyone. She doesn't
does.
look like anyone in particular.
Right. What kind of a response have you got from that today?
Really good.
A lot of positive.
A lot of positive.
Women appreciate the effort. Women
And
love
the
it.
Men love it too.
Men, oh, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, it's good for everyone.
All right, you have any more ideas? I mean, you've got Campaign 2020 come up here.
No,
I mean,
but-
there's not a whole lot of subject matter there, I know.
Not yet.
But
No.
it's going to take off here pretty
You
soon.
never know what might inspire me.
Well, we need people to get inspired
We
because
do.
it's important for especially women in this day and age. I think women are ready to take charge.
Yes,
You feel
I
that? You
agree.
feel the excitement in the air?
Yeah.
All
we
right.
are.
Well, this is a powerful work, and I think this is really going to get us going. Is that Elizabeth Taylor?
It is.
Oh, that was.
No, there's a lot on there.
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere you look.
All right, Trish Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Trish Hollywood. Richard A. Claddy here at the 2019 Minnesota State Fair with the artist Janelle Hammer. Janelle, could you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to create this beautiful piece of art?
It's called 2008, and that's the year that I met my friend right here, Chloe.
Chloe? This
She's
is
the girl in
Chloe.
the photo. Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
Chloe, very beautiful portrait. Yeah, are you happy with this, Chloe? This works for you? But that'd be a beautiful detail. I mean,
Thank you.
Fantastic. How long have you been working in as an artist?
I guess I've been painting for all I can, as long as I can
Since you
remember.
remember,
But
okay.
past couple years, I've been doing it a lot more. I've been really trying to practice.
Do you have a
get better at
mentor or a teacher?
it. I just go for it.
Really?
Each painting, I just try to do a little better. Try
Wow.
to work on stuff.
Well, that's fantastic.
Thank you. I reference photos a lot.
Okay. And what medium are we working with? What kind of paint do you work
oil
with?
paints.
Oil
Yep.
paints?
I tried painting this one before this one with acrylic, but that was quite difficult. So I sat on it for a year, and then I came back with this photo of Chloe and oil paint, and I went for it.
Oh, wow. I mean, the depth of it is fantastic. I mean, the way
Thank
your face, of course, jumps out at you. Okay? And what response do you get from your family, friends?
I think they liked it. They gave me a thumbs up.
Thumbs up? I mean, well, who could not like
Yeah.
this? I mean, so what other, you going to go to college? You think going to art school in the future is in store?
I'd like to. I think I'm going to play it by ear, see what works out. I'll keep doing art, of course.
Oh, of course. Well, hey, you got to keep this. Well, the size, what's inspired you with this? The size of this is just amazing.
I figured I better go big or go home.
Well, that's great.
With how tight the competition is here.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. Well, it's just amazing. Is this your first
Yes,
submission?
first time entering.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
you.
I think you have a bright future at the Minnesota State Fair. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name's Kyle Hansen. I'm with RKH Images from Burnsville, Minnesota.
All right, and this looks like it has a story to it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
I've been shooting concerts my whole life, and to get the ultimate kiss picture is something that concert photographers always try to do. I've been practicing and practicing and practicing. I think I've seen them over 40 times, and I was approved to shoot the show. And standing in the back at the soundboard, I have a series of these with different poses and different flames and all that, but I thought this one said it best with the hands, the phones, the sound guy, just everything.
And when did you take it?
It was in March of this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So is photography your main medium?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been doing that?
Basically my whole life.
Okay.
My mom over there, we used to do trick photography when I was a kid. I was thinking about this the other day. And then when I was a kid going to concerts, I would sneak cameras in. And so it just turned into this whole thing. And then my wife and I started about 10 years professionally.
So you just self-taught. You don't have any professional or?
I did some. It was a School of Communication Arts in Minneapolis. It was a little basic thing. It was more about developing film, back when there was film in the 90s, and basically self-taught. Yeah, learning and lots of trial and error, and then the thing nowadays with photographers is YouTube. You can learn so much on YouTube. You can learn so much on the internet, and it doesn't cost you a thing. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So what other concerts have you done?
Everything. Recently, I shot the Stray Cats, Aerosmith, Iron Maiden. I run my own concert webpage, so we're shooting. I have a bunch of photographers that work with me, and we shoot concerts all the time.
So it's mostly rock you do?
Mostly rock.
All right, that's cool. So is this your first time at the State Fair?
I've submitted 9 times for 9 years, and this is my first one in.
Oh, man, that must be exciting.
Yes. I actually just said I'm taking my favorite photo, and I'm sending it in.
Nice.
So I didn't put much thought about it. I was like, this is my favorite one, and to get in with the concert photo, it makes me very happy.
Oh, yeah, and I just love all the phones here. You can see them.
Usually I don't like phones at concerts, but I really do this time because it looks really good in the photo.
Like when it benefits your picture, yeah. And where can we find you?
You can find me at RKH Images, RKH-images.com.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
Richard A. Claddy here with Paul Turney with his work of art. This is a sculpture. The expression on this guy's face. Can you tell me?
Isn't it unbelievable?
Fantastic. Now, this is a sculpture. It looks like heavy metal. Can you give us a little bit of a background?
Welded steel, fabricated steel.
Excellent.
Just done with a torch, an electric welder, all put together.
The craftsmanship is excellent. Now, was there somebody around Lake Nokomis going skateboard that you inspired?
Me. That's you. It's not me. That isn't me, but it's me that inspired it.
Well, it's a tough competition.
Tough competition.
Great about Minnesota is I'm surprised with all the fantastic talent that we have in this.
I know. I agree. They come out of the woodwork this time of year. I enter usually every year over here.
Oh,
sometimes I get in, sometimes I don't. This year I made it.
Well, the Minnesota State Fair, I think we're number 1, aren't we?
I think so. This is the greatest place to expose them, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
Because you get so many people walking through. And, hey, what are you doing?
I know it's the creative process that inspires you.
That's right. I agree. You start with something and slowly it evolves.
Yeah, you don't know.
I usually start with the face.
Start with the face?
Because then it has a personality. Once I get the personality and the grin or the frown or whatever it's going to be, then I kind of know what the rest of it's going to be.
Well, it's a dynamic piece of work. I really appreciate the effort.
Nice
Thanks for
talking to you.
having this interview, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.